I still remember the first time she parked her pearl-white Cadillac across the foot of my driveway like it was the opening shot of a Hitchcock film. Late October, light slanting through the sugar maples, a drift of rust-colored leaves skating across the hood, and that vanity plate KRN1 winking at me like a dare. My '97 Buick, the one my late wife and I drove to every Grandkids graduation, sat trapped behind the garage door, engine ticking like an anxious heart. I was late for my own doctor's appointment, but what really tightened my chest was the casual arrogance of it all. She hadn't misjudged the curb. She had staked a claim, the same way she'd been staking little claims all over Willow Glen Court ever since she'd been elected to the HOA board. If you've ever felt your pulse drum behind your ears when someone trespasses on the small patch of life you've worked 50 years to own, hit that like button and settle in, because this story is for you. I marched across the yard, past the birdbath my granddaughter painted in kindergarten, and rapped on the driver's side window. Karen rolled it down halfway, latte in hand, oversized sunglasses masking half her face. "Morning, neighbor," I said, keeping my voice level. "You're blocking my driveway." She sipped, foam clinging to her lip like a smug mustache. "Relax, Walt. It's just for a minute. I'm waiting on the Instacart guy. You're retired. What's the rush?" The rush was a cardiology follow-up, but I didn't owe her my medical chart. "I need to leave now. Please move." Karen sighed, the kind of sigh that said I was the inconvenience. "Fine." She inched forward exactly 3 feet, still squarely across the apron, and killed the engine again. "Better?" I stood there, leaves skittering around my ankles, feeling the old Marine in me rise like a tide. I could have hot-wired a tank in my sleep once, but I promised Ellie, God rest her, that I'd leave the war overseas. So I swallowed it, backed up, and called a cab. That afternoon, I filed my first formal complaint with the HOA. Polite, factual, time-stamped. I even attached a photo of the Cadillac's rear bumper kissing my mailbox post. The automated reply said the board would review it within 14 business days. Spoiler alert, they never did. By Thanksgiving, Karen's car had become a fixture at the edge of my driveway. She'd idle there while gossiping on speakerphone, engine purring like a cat that knew it owned the porch. Packages got dropped off, groceries unloaded, friends ferried in and out. My trash cans had to be wheeled into the street from the side gate, an awkward shuffle that left me winded and embarrassed when the neighbors watched. One afternoon I found my newspaper floating in the birdbath, pages soggy, because the delivery kid couldn't reach the porch. I tried everything the reasonable man playbook prescribes. I left notes first courteous, then firmer under her wiper blades. She'd crumple them and let the wind do the littering. I spoke at the monthly HOA meeting. 3 minutes at the mic. Voice steady. Karen sat in the front row, knitting a scarf the color of Pinot Noir, rolling her eyes loud enough to hear. The board president, a soft-spoken accountant named Jerry, promised to look into it. I later learned Karen chaired the parking committee. Jerry's wife wanted a new garden, shed variance. Funny how favors flow. The breaking point arrived on a slate-gray December morning. My daughter, Laura, had flown in from Denver with the twins, 6 years old and bursting with Christmas energy. I'd promised them iced sugar cookies at the mall. I opened the garage, and there sat Karen's Cadillac, not just blocking the driveway but angled across it like a gate. The kids bounced behind me, mittens dangling from their sleeves. "Grandpa, why can't we go?" little Max asked. I felt my face go hot. "Change of plans, buddy." Laura gave me that look, the one that said, "Dad, fix this." I marched to Karen's door, rang the bell, waited. No answer. Rang again. On the third try, she cracked the door. Robe cinched tight. Phone still glowing in her hand. "Walt, it's 6:30 in the morning. My family's here. I need the driveway clear." She yawned. "I'll move it after my yoga stream." I stared at her, counting heartbeats. "How long is the session?" 45 minutes, maybe an hour." Behind me, the twins were already arguing over who got the front seat. I pictured Ellie shaking her head. "Pick your battles, Walt. But some battles pick you." I swallowed the anger, ushered the kids back inside, and ordered cookies for delivery. While they decorated the sugar snowmen at my kitchen table, I opened my laptop and began to research. If you think it's too late to learn new tricks at 72, drop a comment and tell me what skill you'd master tomorrow. I'll read every one. Turns out, our CC&Rs, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions, contain a beautiful, underused clause. Any vehicle habitually obstructing a homeowner's ingress or egress may be towed at the owner's expense after 2 documented warnings. The kicker? The warnings have to be delivered by certified mail and posted conspicuously on the vehicle itself. Karen had rewritten the parking rules last spring, but she'd never bothered to amend the master deed recorded with the county. Classic power play changed the talk. Ignore the fine print. I printed 2 crisp notices, walked them to the mailbox in the misty dawn, and paid for tracking. 48 hours later, the green cards came back signed K. Langford. Perfect. I called A1 Towing, a mom-and-pop outfit I'd used when Ellie's Honda threw a rod. Joe, the owner, remembered me. Walt, you sure about this? She's on the board. Show me where the CC&Rs forbid it, I said. Joe whistled. I like you, old-timer. Be there at 8 sharp. I set my alarm, brewed a pot of Sumatra roast, and waited on the porch swing, blanket across my knees. At 7:58, the Cadillac slid into its usual spot. Karen stepped out in teal workout gear, earbuds in, oblivious. She jogged up her walkway without a backward glance. At 8:03, the flatbed rolled in. Joe's kid brother worked the hydraulics. The pearl-white caddy rose like a sacrificial offering. I felt a twinge this was someone's car. After all, but I remembered Max's disappointed face and held my ground. Karen came sprinting out, hair swinging like a horse's tail. What are you doing? That's my car! Joe handed her the tow ticket. Ma'am, you've been formally warned twice. Sign here. She turned on me, cheeks blotchy. You miserable! You can't do this! I held up the green certified mail cards. Already did. The neighbors gathered Mrs. Patel with her toy poodle. The newlyweds who'd moved into the Henderson place. Even Jerry the board president in bedroom slippers. Phones came out. Karen shrieked that I'd violated HOA policy, that she'd have me fined, that I was harassing a board member. Joe just shrugged and drove away. Cadillac perched like a trophy. Here's where the story could have ended. And some folks say I should have left it there. But I've learned that real justice isn't just one dramatic moment. It's the quiet domino tumble that follows. 2 days later, the HOA held an emergency meeting to address the Walts situation, as Karen called it. I arrived early, sat in the back row. The room smelled of burnt coffee and pine-scented cleaner. Karen opened with a slideshow of grainy photos. My trash can allegedly blocking the sidewalk, my sprinkler overshooting by inches, a close-up of my mailbox with the flag up on a non... Laura reached over and squeezed my shoulder. You okay? I nodded, eyes on the road, but heart somewhere softer. Ellie would have said, justice isn't about winning. It's about remembering who you are when someone tries to take a piece of you. I think she'd have liked that I never raised my voice. Never stooped. I simply read the rules better than the people who wrote them. If you've ever stood up for your little square of earth, whether it's a driveway, a garden, or just the right to receive your morning paper dry, tell me how you did it in the comments. I read every story, and I salute you. And if you're new here and want more slow burn tales of everyday folks who outfox the bullies without firing a shot, hit subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss the next chapter. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge is a life lived on your own terms. No blocked driveways, no unpaid fines, just open road and sugar cookies waiting at the other end.